Afternoon, guys. This is the last RE lesson before you come back to school, and we're going to do the next bit of Easter. So last week we looked at some of the symbols of Easter in terms of food, and this week we're going to look at the whole Easter story. So I'm hoping that when you come in next week, you're going to be able to retell it. In other words, tell me the most important bits. So I was going to show you a video, but I don't think the video is very good. So I'm going to read quite a simplified version of the Easter story. Then I want you to talk to your grown-up about the main parts that you heard. And then in your pack, which is quite big, you've got some story cards and some sentences. And what I want you to do while you're listening to the story, I want your grown-up to cut up the bits of paper and kind of jumble them all together. And once we finish talking about the story, then I want you just to sequence them. So put the pictures in order and then put the writing that goes with the picture underneath. And then hopefully your grown-up can take a photo of it and they can send it to me. Or if you want to, you can send it to me and write a little message in an email to me. Okay? As long as I have it ready for English next week, because we're ready for RE next week, because we're going to go through it again. So while your mums and dads cut up the story, here is the story. Okay, so here we've got the Easter story with this person on the cross, and we've got some ladies down here. So Jesus and his friends were travelling to Jerusalem. So here's Jesus. Jesus rode into town on a donkey. The people covered the path with their cloaks and palm leaves and shouted, "Jesus is the King." Jesus and his 12 disciples, once they got to Jerusalem, had a meal together. Jesus told them that it was the last meal that they would ever have before he died. They ate bread and they drank wine. This was called the Last Supper. Afterwards, Jesus and his friends went to the garden to pray. So it doesn't mention it here, but the garden was the Garden of Gethsemane. But his friends were so tired they fell asleep. Jesus was very sad. Suddenly, some soldiers arrived to take Jesus away. Judas was one of Jesus' friends, had told the soldiers where to find Jesus. So Judas was one of the 12 disciples and he betrayed him. Jesus' other friends were so scared that they ran away. Jesus was taken to see a man called Pilate. He was in charge of the soldiers. It was decided that Jesus should be killed. The soldiers made Jesus wear a crown of thorns and carry the big cross to where he was going to be crucified. A bit horrible, but they put nails through his hands and feet and they put him onto the cross. Mary, Jesus' mother, that's the lady here in the blue, his Aunt Mary, and Mary Magdalene, a friend, all prayed for Jesus. So the three Marys. After some time, the sky went very dark. Jesus bowed his head and died. Jesus' body was wrapped in a cloth and was put in a tomb made of rock. A huge stone rolled in front of the tomb, and a soldier was put on guard. Mary and Mary Magdalene went to the tomb to pray, but when they got there, they found that the stone had been rolled back and Jesus was gone. Mary began to cry. Suddenly, a man appeared and asked her why she was crying. The man was Jesus. He had risen from the dead. Jesus was alive. Jesus spoke to his friends and told them he would soon join his Father in heaven. Jesus asked them to spread the word of God all over the world. And that is the story. So I want you just to have a little chat with your grown-up, and what do you remember from the story? So pause the video now and have a chat. Okay, so I'm going to uncover the main parts of the story. Now, the story that you're going to sequence does have some extra bits in it. So if you can't work out where those extra bits go, then it's fine to leave them out. But I want you to see, because you've done this story before, everybody has. We'd have done it last year, if you were in my class last year, but I know that you would have done it in Corfe as well. So, Jesus rode to Jerusalem on a donkey. There was the Last Supper. Judas betrayed Jesus to the soldiers. Pilate decided Jesus should be crucified. They gave him a crown of thorns and made him carry his cross. The sky went dark and Jesus died. He was then put in a tomb, and when Mary came, Jesus was gone. The one thing I couldn't fit on here was the fact that Jesus told his disciples to go and spread the word of God, and there are still people doing that today. So, you have got some cards, okay? There's quite a few cards, so if there is any that you're not quite sure about, leave them out. But I want you to put the cards in order and then try and match the writing to the pictures. And then all I need you to do is take a photo. You don't need to stick it anywhere. You just need to do it on a table on the floor, and then get mum or dad to take a picture and email it to me. And that is it. What we're going to be doing, hopefully, in the next couple of weeks is recreating some of the scenes that we have got in the Easter story. Okay? Right. Off you go.